What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a full mixing masterclass. I have some personal songs that I need worked on, so there's 4 of them, and so we're going to pick one of them and we're going to do a full mix and master for it, and I'm going to walk you through the steps and I'm just going to show you what my thought process is. So I'm thinking we can pull up this song called Devil's Bargain. It's right here, and the last session that we have open is session setup. So we created the session, we made the raw sessions where we imported the stems, and then this is where we import the mixing template and all that stuff and have it set up ready for mixing. So we'll open that up and we'll take a look. So in this session, it's just a 2-track beat. There's no separate stems for the instruments. So originally, all that was in this session was the 2-track beat right here, the vocals, and well, the lead vocal and the ad-lib vocal and the background. It was just those tracks. I imported my mixing template and I did it in a way where it works for the 2-track beat. So let me explain. So if you see here, we have 4 buses right here. We have all backgrounds, all leads, all vocals, and all music. So normally there's more than that for like for if you're mixing the actual instrument. I just want to show you what it looks like for me importing my session template. So it would come to, you go to import, session data, mixing, and then because this is a 2-track beat, we'll drag this down to here. We'll skip drums, bass, and we'll go vocals, and we'll skip all this stuff. This is synths, guitars. We'll go lead vocals, all background vocals, and then we'll pick what we actually need for this stuff. So I know we have 1 lead vocal, so we'll pick that. And then I know we have some ad-libs, so we'll pick this. And I know we have 1 background vocal, so we'll use that. If we had 2 background vocals, we would drag this down. And then you would drag the rest of your effect sends down. You always want your effect sends. And then this RX return is for clean, like for pops and clicks and stuff like that. If your song sounds good, you don't really need it, but I always bring it in anyway. So this is what I would bring in. This is what's in the session right now. You can see here, reference mix, mix bus, print, master, it's all right there. We have that pulled up and everything's ready to go. What we're gonna do first before anything is we're gonna do a save as, and instead of session setup now, we're gonna do a mix one. Cool. Now this is called mix one. We're not messing with the session setup one anymore. It's important that you do your save as's before you start, because if I was in session setup and I started mixing the lead vocals and then I hit save, well, I just saved that to my session setup. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to listen to the song as is, and then we're going to get into mixing the vocals first. In this template, we have a print track that's being fed from the mix bus, so in order to hear the sound, we have to monitor the print bus. So let's just play this as it is, and let's take a listen.
Spot a dirty deal, the shipment coming triple seal. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real, the devil offered him $1 million for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal.
There's a lot of masking on the vocal that I can hear. We're going to need to really open up that vocal. This vocal was recorded on a Neumann U87 microphone at the studio. I really like the microphone, but for my type of vocal, it does like do something weird to my, it doesn't let my vocal like shoot out the microphone. So I have the Lewitt 440 Pure mic, and this sounds crazy to say, but it genuinely sounds better than the Neumann going from the microphone into Pro Tools with no plugins. It's more open. The only thing though is with the Lewitt is it's more sibilant, but if you know how to control for that, then this mic is incredible. And I can only imagine what the more advanced versions are. So like they have the Pure Tube, and they have even bigger, they have one where you can switch it from a tube mic to a FET mic, like with 1 switch. It's crazy. Let's go ahead and mute the 2-track and just start working on these vocals, right? For a vocal like this,
Deal, the shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
We got a lot to work on. So the first thing that I'm noticing is just some really annoying frequency really high up in the frequency spectrum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that up out of there ASAP. Let's pull up this EQ, but if you notice, it's not the EQ from on my vocal bus. It's a separate EQ that's going to be happening before the vocal bus. So you have to remember signal chain, right? So like if you want to do something to the vocal before you're hitting your vocal bus, then you have to find the spot that's before the vocal bus. So the first place in the session is the vocal tracks. This is the main source of the section. So from this lead vocal track, it goes to the vocal bus. So if we wanted to boost frequencies inside of this preamp slash EQ, it would be much smarter to beforehand go right here and correct the like really harsh high frequency stuff right here. So let's do that.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple seal.
And I'm just looking for one. I'm not going to do a ton. I'm not going to get greedy. I'm just looking for one spot in the high frequencies that's just ungodly annoying. And I'm going to just take that out.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple seal. These days I be breaking even. I just do this shit 'cause it's a thrill.
Pretty annoying. So we're going to tighten the Q up a bit here, and we're going to pull this down. Actually, I'm going to tighten it up a lot more. And then I'm going to actually pull this up first, and I'm going to listen to it while it's up. Crazy annoying frequency. So I'm going to tighten the Q as tight as it can go, and I'm going to start dragging it down out of the vocal. Anywhere from like 3 to 6 dBs, just to keep it out of the vocal. And let me listen here and see what it sounds like. And just to be sure I'm on the right frequency, I'm going to sweep it a little bit back and forth and just make sure I'm perfectly on it. So right now I'm at 8861.5. There it is. You heard that, right? So 9502. This is where it's really poking hard. So right here is perfect. And it's harsh too. So we're going to pull it down closer towards 6 for sure.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
Alright, so I'm going to show you a bypass and then we'll turn it on for that section and we'll just kind of listen to what it's doing. So here it is bypassed.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
And here it is with it on.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
Much more tame on that high that one frequency that's just too much. We'll hit save and then we'll move on to the vocal now. So the first plugin in this chain is this VLC plugin by Mixwave. It's by Hazel Rig Industries, and this is a preamp slash EQ, but it's kind of like a Pultec style EQ, and I love the way this sounds. So let's go ahead and make some adjustments.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even. I just do this shit 'cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
See how it like really boosts those high frequencies? You can really hear it now. So if we would have boosted that before doing that Pro Q cut, probably would sound really ugly, and we can actually test that theory.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
Yeah, it's really ripping out there, and then listen.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
Like the S's are still there because we haven't de-essed yet. Like the harshness is a little bit gone if you can peep. Let's keep adjusting here. I'm not gonna be doing a high boost. Let's go ahead and
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even. I just do this shit 'cause it's a thrill.
That sounds pretty good right there.
I can spot a dirty deal.
So let's go ahead and bypass and let's get the output. Well, we're gonna adjust it by the input gain, but we'll get that so where it sounds level.
I can spot a dirty deal. I can spot a dirty deal.
And it sounds pretty close, so we'll just only drag it down like a couple, like maybe 0.3.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even. I just do this shit 'cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This is the third time for the appeal.
So a little low cut, so that if I don't know if you've seen whenever I was boosting this, but you could hear the boominess. So just a little low cut. So I just did a little low cut. I don't know if you could hear, but whenever I exaggerated that, all the low end went away. I did that so I could show you. At around 1.5 a low cut, and then we did a high cut at 3.6 because this vocal did seem like really high frequency.
I can spot a dirty deal.
Even with that low cut, it still seems like we're gonna need to tame that a bit more. So now we'll go ahead and we'll start de-essing. I like to de-ess really early just to gain control of that sibilance. So it's out of the way. This is where it's normally set to. We'll just adjust, and then I'll tell you what I did.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
So if you notice right now, during that one S, it went down really far past like -6. Don't really need all that much, it's too much. So let's find the S frequency using this S chain. So what's gonna happen when I click this is you're not gonna hear the vocal anymore, you're just gonna hear the S sounds. We're gonna find the correct frequency, and then we'll adjust the threshold a little bit better.
For real.
Okay, so whenever I have the S sounds happening, that's when it's pulling down the most. The way that I'm adjusting this frequency, right, is I'm watching the threshold as well. So like 5587, let me remember that number. So if we go all the way up here, notice how it's like not pulling anything down. But if you come back down here, see how it's pulling it down now because we're in that range, right? So let's adjust the threshold and get it so where at the harshest S sounds, I like it to be like right under -6, but that's not for every song. It's like a feeling thing. So let's just try. That's probably good. Let's listen real quick.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment come.
A little much. Let's pull it back.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
So here's bypassed.
I can spot a dirty deal. I can spot a dirty deal.
Pay attention to the S whenever I say that.
I can spot a dirty deal.
So it's like a little harsh.
I can spot a dirty deal.
Maybe pull it down just a bit more.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal.
And we could get closer. Right there is like a much better spot.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal.
Back it off a little bit. All right, so we'll go in with a second de-esser to get like the higher frequency stuff. I should just go ahead and get like the pro de-esser, but I'm not gonna do it yet. I'm gonna just hold off a little more. So we'll go in for this next thing right here, and we're gonna pro cue the vocal. First things first, we're gonna control the low end frequencies. So let's go ahead.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal.
If you can see, all I did was I rolled off the low end right here. All this information that's down here, I want that out. Might even pull it a little closer, and then also bring it up a bit just to get that low end back.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even.
And then also, actually,
the shipment coming triple sealed.
That right there sounds pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and tame some frequencies here. First one I'm looking for is like the boomy boxy stuff. So
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the 3rd time for the appeal. For real.
Yeah, it's right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down a dynamic EQ. So in order to drop the dynamics down like this, I'd like to use the scroll wheel and the option button. So you hold option and scroll up and down, and it'll open it up like this. And then in order to thin out the cue or make it wider, you use hold control and scroll. All right, so now we're going to listen for that frequency, and we're just going to pull it out.
These days I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me. That shit would've sound like a bargain. But the new me flipped the 6 around and turned the devil to a target. Bow. 1v1 with the Reaper. Yeah. I can't lie, this shit getting deeper. Whoa. Glock 9 on the hit, but you know the right swing is a sleeper. It's time to discuss all the heat in the room. Friends done turn into enemies.
So what I'm looking for is
I can spot a dirty deal.
I want, at the end of my phrases, I want the release to come up flush with the next phrase. I don't want it to be happening too fast, too slow. So you just look and then you adjust. It finishes coming up right as I'm about to start my next phrase, if that makes sense. So I have it adjusted for that.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
And then for the attack, you kind of want to let that initial thump come through. You don't want it to overly attack it. I slowed the attack time just a little tiny bit than from what the default setting is.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
That way it's clamping down, but it's giving it a hair of a second for it to actually give that vocal that weight, and then it pulls it back. So it tricks you kind of into believing that the vocal's thicker than what it actually is, and leaving the ability to put it in the mix louder at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and move on to the next knot.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
And obviously that's going to be it right there. So, and also you could just use these buttons down here if you don't want to use your keyboard for manual stuff. I swap between them all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down dynamically. So the way I always make all my cuts dynamic, and then I'll show you when I decide to make it static here in a second. So let's go ahead and let's adjust here real quick.
I can spot.
And I'm going to just kind of zone in on that 452 hertz frequency. And I can already see there's some words where it doesn't trigger it. I'll probably leave it as dynamic. So
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, not thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal. I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
And it's kind of harsh too, so I'm gonna pull it down statically as well.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be.
So this is what it sounds like.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
And we got that up out of there. So move on to the next frequency.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the.
There's some like staticky boxy frequency right there. And I kind of want that thin, and we'll just listen. Because this is more of like a transient-based dynamic EQ for this section, not in general, not for these, but for this one right here. Like it's like a sharp thing that we're pulling down. What I want to do is I'm gonna speed up the attack time a bit and the release time as well. And let me just see what that sounds like.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought.
See how it just bounces real quick? I'm gonna slow the release time just a bit more.
I can spot a dirty deal.
But yeah, that frequency, we wanted to attack it immediately and get that out of there.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
So let's bypass and let's just see what kind of progress we've made so far throughout this vocal.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
Already starting to sound way better. So let's go ahead and keep finding some more harsh frequencies that we don't like.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
Slight nasally frequency. We can go ahead and pull some of that. So let's go ahead and see what we got here.
I can spot shit cause it's a thrill. I can spot a dirty deal.
And for this one as well, we're going to speed up the attack time and the release just slightly.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. He's inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal.
Alright, so before and after.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
I'll do a bypass one more time.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
And
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
Alright, cool. So let's keep going here. There's some more stuff.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking.
So like right there is a really, really harsh frequency. So pull that down as well. And let's go ahead and see what we got.
I can spot.
Right there is super ugly.
I can spot a dirty deal. Coming triple sealed.
Sweet. So before and after.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
And then after.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
So let's go ahead and add some compression now. So when this was recorded, it was recorded at BLV Studios in Lemoyne, PA on the Neumann. We didn't use any sort of outboard gear whatsoever. So no, if I would have, it would have been what I have right next to me. And it would have been the WA73 EQ into the WA76 into the WA2A. And because I didn't do that, I'm going to kind of replicate it a bit. So we had the preamp up here. We had this VLC preamp. And then in here, we had the 1176. I got the WA76 right here in front of me. We're going to use this one. And then I'll pick the second compressor later on. So let's go ahead and listen and adjust. And I'll explain how I'm doing this as well.
I can spot a dirty deal.
First things first, way too much. Back it off.
I can spot a dirty deal.
Still too much. Back it off.
I can spot a dirty deal.
Like right around there.
I can spot a dirty deal.
Cool. Now, for a vocal like this, right, the way you want to, the meter's there for a reason, right? So you got to learn how to read it. I'm going to play the vocal, and I'm going to explain to you what the needle's doing.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
So first things first, the attack time. If you peep the needle whenever I hit play, it's taking a bit too long to attack that initial transient whenever it starts playing. So watch the needle.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
It's taking a little bit too long to react to what we need. So we'll speed that up by a little bit, like right around here. And let's see what happens.
I can spot a dirty deal.
It's a bit faster. Let's go a little bit more. Look right here.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
Okay, I'm sure that's going to be perfect for the vocal. Let's go ahead and fix the release time.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal.
So I put the attack right around like the middle area. I wanted to attack the transients, but I don't want it to kill them. So if you peep right here.
I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time.
Probably speed it up a bit. Like put on the side.
I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal.
And I'll probably increase the input by a tiny bit, just a little bit.
I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
Yeah. And for the release time, you just want the needle to come back whenever the next phrase is about to happen. So like, I'll explain. So look.
I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
See how the needle hit the red right there? Right as the next phrase was coming, so it's kind of perfect right there.
I still got home.
Yeah, it looks good to me. So that's the first compressor in the vocal chain. Now let's move on to some enhancements. So this is an enhancement EQ. So what it does is it doesn't just boost EQ, it also saturates what you're boosting. So right here we have Spectre. I'm just gonna adjust. I normally only mess with these two right here, and then maybe this one right here if I need some more body in the vocal. So let's go ahead.
I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
And normally the way I do this is I adjust by pulling the high end out so I can hear it, and then I'll bring it in to where I like it.
I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal. I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal.
Cool. That's a good spot where it's giving some air to the vocal and saturation, but it's not boosting up them S's too crazy because the S's are like right around here in this area, and we're kind of missing it. You can also do that as well and miss even more of it.
I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
Cool. And let's check this middle band.
I be breaking even. I just
This band right here, I use this band for like the main tone of your entire vocal. So like whatever I want your vocal to sound like, this is where I'm hitting right here. And I'm going to find the area that I like to your vocal to sound the best. I'm going to boost it up really high, find the frequency, and then I'll bring it down.
I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal.
And there's normally like 3 or 4 options that you can choose from that sound really good. So I'll start from over here and we'll work our way and we'll just like identify the good ones.
I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal.
So the first one could be like right around the 3K mark, like halfway between 3K and 4K.
I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
You hear that? It sounds pretty decent right there. There's a better one though, but if we were to use this one, it would sound like
I
this.
be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal.
Right? Like, we don't want too much. And then there's another one in there too we can find.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside.
You could go for like the more like high frequency vocal if you put it up here.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
Or you could bring it down and you could do a little bit more of a mid boost vocal.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal.
Like right there is sounding pretty good to me. Let's check.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
Kind of just opens up the vocal a bit. You don't want to overdo it. Let's go ahead and get back into some more Pro Q, and we're going to do more reduction.
I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal.
Like right here. Probably pull it down.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal. I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal.
And speed up the attack a little bit.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real.
And I'm going to slow down the attack time.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal.
And speed up the attack a little more.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal.
So whatever that frequency was, we pulled it out. It's a little less like in the boxiness area. So now we're going to pull up some multi-band compression and get a control of these middle bands here and just check it.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal. I'm
looking from anywhere from like 2 to 6 dBs of gain reduction. You can see that over here with this line right here. And then in the way I have this number 1 band set up, if any proximity effect comes through, it'll be taken out here.
I be breaking even, I just...
You can see it right there, breaking. We took care of that.
I be breaking even.
All right, and let's before and after and match the output.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a...
Very close. Sweet. All right, so let's get into Suit 2. And so we're going to use this for more reduction again. And we're just getting everything that we missed. So let's go ahead and listen. I'm going to bring this down here. I don't want to take out too much around the 4K area.
I be breaking even, I just do this.
And use the delta button to hear what you're taking out. So I'm going to turn the selectivity up just a bit. Cool. I like that. And that's going to be taken out of the vocal.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
And then Neutron 5. We have this compressor for the last one. I'm going to switch this out for the LA2A, but let's try this and see.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal. I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal.
That's starting to get clean. So let's listen before all the plugins bypassed, and let's listen to what that sounds like, and then we'll turn them on.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the third time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me. That shit would've sound like a bargain. But the new me flipped the 6 around and turned the devil to a target.
So you can hear the difference, right? So last thing is we're going to add a de-esser to the end of this vocal chain. And we're just going to catch the top end, like I'm going to find the worst one. So let's go ahead and look. Pull the threshold down.
For real. For real.
Like right there. And we're just catching those last little bits, so I don't want to see more than like -3 on the reduction.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. I be breaking.
Cool.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal.
Sweet, alright, bypass and then unbypass.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal.
And then with it on.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal.
Much better on the ears, much better. So cool, I like the way that vocal sounds. Let's do one more bypass for all the plugins and let's listen to what it sounds like and then I'll turn them on.
I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
You can definitely hear the difference there. Let's go ahead and bring in the music and let's see what we got going on.
I just spot a dirty deal, the shipment coming triple seal. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain. But the new me flipped the 6 around and turned the devil to a target. Bow. 1v1 with the Reaper, yeah. I can't lie, this shit getting deeper. Whoa. Glock 9 on the hit, but you know the right swing is a sleeper. It's time to discuss all the heat in the room. Friends done turning to enemies. Vivid memories are sitting.
Alright, so we want to make that vocal cut through the beat way better. So we got Trackspacer here. I'm going to find a bus that's open, bus 10. And then we'll go down here to the lead vocal here in the sends. And we'll go to bus 10. And we'll turn that up.
Thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain.
Beat's way too loud. Let's start at 10.
Thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal.
And then for this, we'll go ahead and turn that back down to where it was for the vocal. We don't really need it up there anymore.
Thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal.
Alright, sweet. So it's about level with the track. What I want to do is I have this all leads and all background vocals. So for the all leads bus, I have another de-esser. And this one's here to just catch those final bits. This is a mastering de-esser. Like 3 dBs of gain reduction. We're going to bring it to where it's just shaving off the tiniest bit of S's at the end, just for ultra clear vocals.
Thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal.
I just wanted to barely clip it right there.
Thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal.
And we'll back it off even a little more.
I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal.
Maybe a little tiny bit more.
Thrill. I still got homies inside of thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. Thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain. But the new me flipped the 6 around and turned the devil to a target.
Sounds better for sure. Again, for the lead vocal, we're gonna be hitting it with Soothe again. This time much lighter. So let's figure this out here.
For real.
So last plugin for the lead vocals is RVox. This is just to get that final bit of push in the vocal for compression.
Thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain. But the new me flipped the 6 around and turned the devil to a target. Bow, 1v1 with the Reaper. Yeah.
Let's do a bypass from all these and let's see what these plugins did versus what they didn't do.
I could spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
Bet, and then with them on.
I could spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
Way cleaner, just with those little bit of plugins right there. We're just cleaning it up. For the ad-libs, what I like to do is I like to turn on the plugins and then copy and paste them so they're identical. I'm just a little bit OCD. There's no like logical reason for doing it exactly like this other than the fact that I need it to look the same. And it doesn't affect it musically, so I'm fine. So for Spectre, right, what we're going to do is we're going to pull down this high frequency band for Spectre in the ad-libs. So for the rest of the stuff, just copy paste. We can run Soothe, but we don't need another compressor right there. So we'll run the Soothe. And then for the compressor, for the ad-libs, right, I want to see a little bit more gain reduction, like around here, so I can pin it to the back.
For real. The devil offered them a milli for real. For real. The devil offered them peel. For real. The devil offered them a milli peel. For real. The devil offered them a milli for a soul. He thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain.
Cool. So for the ad-lib, right, we need to make it sound like an ad-lib. So let's pull up Pro Q and let's round off the stuff for the ad-lib. Oh, not that. Definitely not that. Cool. So we'll make it like right there.
The devil offered him a milli for a soul. He thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain. 6 around and target. Bow. 1v1 with the Reaper. Yeah. I can't lie, this shit getting deeper. Whoa. Glock 9 on the hit, but you know the right swing is a sleeper. It's time to discuss all the heat in the room. Friends done turning to enemies.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and add reverb and delay. So I got a plate reverb right here for the lead vocal, and let's just feed it in.
Bury me. Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna exaggerate it first, and then so I can hear it, and then we'll pull it back.
Bury me. Yeah. I know them pussies won't be sparing me. Yeah. I know them pussies won't be sparing me. Yeah.
Cool. Just real subtle. You don't need too much. For the lead vocal, I'm gonna do something called time shift, and it's kind of gives it the stereo effect. I'll break it down in a sec. Let me show you what it sounds like.
Bury me. Yeah. I know them pussies won't be sparing me. Yeah. I know them pussies won't be sparing me.
And basically what plugin that is this time shift plugin, and I have it set to 350 samples and 700 samples, and it gives it this like offset delay in the headphones, and it sounds really good. So that is the lead vocal. For the ad lib, let's add some plate.
Bury me. Yeah. Bury me. Yeah. Bury me. Yeah.
That's probably good. And then let's add some long haul as well.
Bury me. Yeah. Bury me. Yeah.
And then we'll add some 1/4 delay to the ad
Bury
lib.
me. Yeah. Bury me. Yeah. I know them pussies won't be sparing me. Yeah. I know them pussies won't be sparing me. Yeah.
For the delay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a lot more of this right here. And a little less of that, a little more of this. Turn off cheap.
Bury me. Yeah.
And we're gonna take that cut off like a lot. Cause like why?
Bury me. Yeah. I know them pussies won't be bury me. Yeah. I know them pussies won't be.
And we can dial it back.
Bury me. Yeah. I know them pussies won't be sparing me. Yeah.
Alright, cool.
I could spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even. I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. This the 3rd time for the appeal. For real.
Let's add some width to the ad-libs.
Inside of the jail. This the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for a soul. He thought that shit was a steal.
And then we'll turn it down with the Pro Q4 inside of the actual track.
Inside of the jail. This the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil out of the jail, this the 3rd time for the appeal. For real. The devil offered him a milli for a soul. He thought that shit was a steal.
So I'm not gonna be doing any of the effects today. I'm gonna ignore all the effects. I'm just trying to show you guys the mixing process. For the music, we're gonna mute the vocals. Let's go ahead and mute these vocals. And what I wanna do is I'm gonna beef up the beat just a bit. So we have Black Box HG2, and we're just gonna beef it just a bit. Slightly beefing up the beat just a little bit. So let's listen back now and let's hear what that sounds like.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. The devil offered him $1 million for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain. But the new me flipped the 6 around and turned the devil to a target. 1v1 with the Reaper, I can't lie, this shit getting deeper. Glock 9 on the hit, but you know the right swing is a sleeper.
Let's go ahead and get into the mix bus now. So basically the way that I approach my mix bus is I start with gold clip, and I like to see the level that I'm getting before I start anything because I want to hit all my compressors the right way. So let's go ahead.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill.
So we're coming in at like negative 6.1. I prefer like -4, -3. We're gonna add 2.5 to the volume, and let's play now.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal.
Cool, and now, because I like the volume we're at now I can start clipping.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. The devil offered him $1 million for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal.
Sweet, so like 1.5 to 2 dBs of gain reduction. So about 1.5 to about 2 dBs of clipping happening. And then we're gonna get into some EQing. I'm using this plugin by Mixwave called Fern VT5. It's like the most incredible plugin I've ever heard. So let's go ahead and adjust.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. The devil offered him $1 million for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain. I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. The devil offered him $1 million for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Just make sure you fill up the casket with funds when it's time to go and bury me. Avenge me and I might share a key, then relocate you like a Cherokee. The way that I'm lifting my metal up, would've thought that I listened to Gary V. I might as well dump the whole clip cause I know them pussies won't be sparing me.
Alright, let's do it before and after.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. The devil offered him $1 million for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain.
It's up to you whether or not you want to do some compression after. I'll do a little bit.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. The devil offered him $1 million for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal.
Cool, and so attack on 30, release on auto, and I have the sidechain filter pulled up to around 120. Let's go ahead and move on to the subtractive EQ, and we're just gonna find some cool stuff here.
I can spot a dirty cause deal. Thrill. I still got home. Sealed. The jail, this the third time for the appeal. The devil offered him $1 million for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit new me flipped the 6 around and turned the devil to a target. The Reaper, reaper. I can't lie, this shit getting deeper. Glock 9, know the right swing is a sleeper. Friends done turn into enemies. Vivid memories of sitting in prison and none of my homies was penning me. And as soon 100 legs like a centipede. But they ain't trying to talk about no. Just make sure you fill up the casket with funds when it's time to go and bury a key, then relocate you like a Cherokee. The way that I'm lifting my metal up with a in the Gary V. I might as well dump the whole clip, cause I know them pussies won't be sparing me. Yeah. I can spot a dirty deal. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies. Third time for the appeal. The devil offered him a milli for his soul. He thought that shit was a steal.
So the next plugin we're gonna do is Mixhead. This is gonna give it some saturation. Let's play it and let's adjust.
I can spot a dirty.
Actually, before we adjust, let's hear if it's doing anything right now.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain. But the new me flipped the 6 around and turned the devil to a target.
It's time for the limiting now, you know what I mean? We're pretty much done with the mix bus. We're gonna go and make God Particle active and let's get some limiting.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain. But the new me flipped the 6 around and turned the devil to a target. 1v1 with the reaper. I can't lie, this shit getting deeper. Glock 9 on the hit, but you know the right swing is a sleeper. It's time to discuss all the heat in the room. Friends done turn into enemies. Vivid memories of sitting in prison and none of my homies was penning me. And as soon as I went and got a check, I seen 100 legs like a centipede. And all the bitches trying to gather around, but they ain't trying to talk about no therapy.
Sweet, so we'll turn on our meter here and we'll just look at where we're at right now.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal.
So we're getting there. We just gotta make it a little louder. This plugin been acting up lately, so if it does, my bad. Let's just see.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail. I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. Can't lie to the old me, that shit would've sound like a bargain. But the new me flipped the 6 around and turned the devil to a target. 1v1 with the reaper. I can't lie, this shit getting deeper. Glock 9 on the hit, but you know the right swing is a sleeper.
Let's go ahead and see what we did with the mix bus now.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed.
We did way too much with the mix bus.
I can spot a dirty deal. The shipment coming triple sealed. These days I be breaking even, I just do this shit cause it's a thrill. I still got homies inside of the jail, this the third time for the appeal. The devil offered him a milli for his soul, he thought that shit was a steal. It's time to discuss all the heat in the room. Friends done turn into enemies. Vivid memories of sitting in prison and none of my homies was penning me.
So this wasn't like the best mix in the world, you know what I mean? Like there are some things to this mix that, you know, I'm not gonna get right on stream. It takes time to really sit down and like really get everything. But this is like the general idea for everything. I almost did break this mix there in the mix bus. If you can hear, it gets way louder in the mix bus. So I would have to adjust for that like later on. But this is the general idea of what you do. So after this, what I would do is I would turn on my print track. I would turn on record enable, and then I would record this right here. So I would go boom, and then All right, and then but I would record the whole way through. And then what you do is you click here. It would not remember, it would be the whole thing normally. I open this side window right here. I go here, and then export clips as files. I choose my location, and then I hit export. And then that's how you get your session. And then this would be mix 1. So I would save it as mix 1, and then that's your first mix. Okay, I appreciate you guys for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, comment below what you think I did wrong. You can also comment below what you think I did correctly. But let me hear your opinions. Let me hear how you feel about these types of vocals, if you think I could have done something better. But just yeah, talk to me down below, and I will catch you guys on the next video.